So, artificial intelligence. It's everywhere, right? It's changing how we work, how we create, how we live. But what about the parts of us that aren't so easy to code? Our inner lives, our search for meaning, our souls? Today, we're going to dive into that really complex relationship between AI and our deepest human qualities, and we'll be drawing on some fascinating insights from expert Varun Soni.
Okay, let's jump right in with this powerful idea from the poet Rumi, which Soni uses to frame this whole conversation. The quote is, "If there was no such thing as real gold, there would be no counterfeit gold." The idea here is that we should think of AI as a reflection of us. It's not some alien thing, it's born from our own intelligence. If our human intelligence is the real gold, then AI, well, it's the most sophisticated counterfeit we've ever made.
And that whole gold idea brings us to the big one, the core question of this entire explainer. Are we building a technology that's going to slowly chip away at what makes us special? Or could it, and this is a bit of a paradox, actually be a tool to amplify our humanity? It's a huge question, so let's break it down.
First, let's explore the super optimistic vision. This is the future you hear about, where AI handles all the boring, mundane stuff, freeing up all of humanity for like a new renaissance of creativity, deep connection, and spiritual growth.
This whole utopian argument really starts by recognizing what AI, with all its incredible power, still can't do, right? It doesn't lie awake at night thinking about life and death. It doesn't feel joy or pain. It isn't moved to tears by a beautiful piece of music. It doesn't fall in love. It doesn't have a life story. It just lacks those core experiences that really define what it is to be human. So, in this perfect future, automating all the routine parts of our lives wouldn't make us lazy. No, the idea is it would free up our time and our mental energy to lean into the very things AI can't do. The stuff that actually gives our lives real, deep meaning. And this vision introduces a really fascinating concept, the idea of AI as a personal guru. Now, in a lot of traditions, a guru is basically a spiritual coach, someone who guides you on your inner journey, kind of like how a soccer coach helps you get better at your game. And the potential scale here is just staggering. Soni suggests that within just a few years, AI won't just be smarter than the smartest person alive. It'll be smarter than all the smartest people who have ever lived, combined. I mean, just imagine having a conversation partner with access to every spiritual text, every great teacher, in all of history. But of course, there's another side to this coin, a much darker possibility. And this is the one that really forces us to look at the mistakes we've already made with technology, especially over the last decade or two. So what we're really looking at is this stark choice, this fork in the road. On one side, you have AI as a supportive companion, freeing us up to be more human. On the other, well, you've got the whole Skynet scenario, an uncontrollable force. Or maybe, and this is probably more realistic, the Wall-E scenario, where we just become these passive, isolated consumers, totally dependent on the tech that was supposed to serve us. The biggest warning sign here comes from our very recent past. We rolled out social media without really understanding what it would do. And the result, as Soni points out, has been nothing short of a public health crisis for an entire generation's mental well-being. It's fueled anxiety, disconnection, and this crazy polarization. And that just forces us to ask a really tough question. Are we being intentional this time around? Or are we just racing ahead, trying to be the first and the fastest, without really thinking about the very real human cost? So this all brings us to some actual practical advice. Because let's face it, whether we like it or not, these tools are here. So how can anyone who's curious about using them for personal growth do it safely and wisely?
Okay, the most important shift in mindset is this. Spirituality isn't really a hunt for quick answers. It's more like the art of asking better and better questions. The goal isn't to have AI just tell you the meaning of life. It's to use it as a kind of thought partner to help you formulate deeper, more personal questions for yourself to explore.
Soni suggests we can engage with AI by wrestling with these big, timeless questions. Who am I? What does my life mean? These are the questions that connect us with all of humanity throughout history. Your answers will change as you grow, but the questions themselves are like anchors, and using AI to explore them can be a really powerful spark for your own inner reflection. But to do this safely, Soni lays out a few key rules. First, you need some spiritual literacy in this space so you can spot bad advice or AI hallucinations. That's when the model just makes stuff up.
Second, cross-reference. Check answers across different AI models, just like you would with good research. Third, and this is a big one, remember these chats are not confidential. Don't share anything you wouldn't want a stranger to see. And finally, maybe most importantly, use AI to supplement, never ever replace real human connection and teachers.
So all of that guidance is for using AI right here, right now. But let's zoom all the way out. Where's all this headed? Let's take on the biggest question of all, one that could literally reshape society as we know it. What happens in a world without work?
Consider this number for a second, 98%. Just 150 years ago, that was the percentage of the entire global population that worked in food production. Almost everybody was a farmer.
Today, that number is less than 2%. And what this huge historical shift proves is that we've gone through massive economic transformations before. We have completely changed what work even means for society, and we've adapted.
But here's the challenge. If AI displaces most jobs, what happens to all these fundamental human needs that work currently fulfills? Because it's not just about a paycheck, is it? It's a source of purpose, of community, of structure for our day, and even where we find our most important relationships.
And this leaves us with a pretty profound final thought to carry with us. If our jobs no longer define us, if we are no longer what we do, then who are we? In a post-work world, the search for meaning, well, that might just become the most important job of all.